It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be looking at some promo pictures that were recently released for the next episode of The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 2, which is called We Are the End of the World. Now, these pictures are actually pretty awesome. Some actually reveal a lot of information to us about what we might potentially see in this episode. And some of them are backed up by the sneak peeks that have been released. So let's jump right into this. So as we've kind of discussed in our prediction videos, and as we kind of see in the sneak peek, we know that part of this episode is going to be a flashback, and it's going to focus on Alpha and Lydia's journey way before they actually formed the Whisperers. So if you remember, in season 9 we had one flashback with Lydia and Alpha, which was in the past, but that one was actually right when the apocalypse happened. But this flashback, which we're going to see in this episode, is more or less going to be maybe a few years after the apocalypse. It's going to focus on Alpha and Lydia trying to basically survive in the fallen world. And also, as we kind of saw in the first flashback that happened last season, Alpha and Lydia's relationship wasn't that great. Alpha viewed Lydia as someone who is weak, who can't handle herself. And in this new flashback, which we're going to see in this episode, it's got a similar type of tone. If we look at, again, the sneak peek that was released, we have a scene where Alpha and Lydia almost get caught, and the walkers get to them because Lydia is too slow, and Alpha actually blames Lydia and says that she's too weak and that she almost got them killed and all of that. So we see that Alpha and Lydia, even at this point in their life, a few years after the apocalypse, they still have a rocky relationship. So that's pretty interesting. So as I said, parts of this episode are going to be flashbacks of Alpha and Lydia just trying to survive. We actually get to see the moment Alpha and Lydia met Beta, which is very interesting. I'll get to that. That was revealed not only in one of the pictures that we're going to look at, but also in the same sneak peek. It actually ends with Alpha and Lydia seeing Beta, which is pretty cool. But here we have this shot of Alpha. She is covered in blood and she's in some sort of abandoned building. She is with Lydia, and this, I think, is part of the shot that was also in the sneak peek. But we have Alpha. She has a knife. She looks a little scared. I would say she's more scared than we've seen her, not only in the current timeline when she's actually Alpha, but she's even more scared than when we saw her before the apocalypse, which is something very, very interesting. So it seems like this is the most vulnerable we're ever going to see Alpha, most likely, which is very cool. The other thing that I do want to mention before I go to the other pictures, she seems to be covering herself with blood. Walker blood, maybe. I don't think this is from her killing the walkers. I think she might have put extra on herself to cover herself from the walkers. So we could see she had whisper-like tendencies even before she formed the Whispers, which is pretty cool. Then we have this shot of a young Lydia. And as I said, you can see she has blood on her face and on her clothes, which is very interesting. So most likely Alpha was the one that told her to do that. So like I said, they seem to have had, or Alpha specifically seemed to have had, whisper-like tendencies even before she formed the Whispers, which is pretty awesome. Then we have this shot of Lydia and Alpha again. They are in that abandoned building, and most likely this picture connects to the shot that we're going to see right after, and they're most likely looking at none other than Beta. So this shot right here. So I think those two are connected, and that's exactly coming from the sneak peek. If you look at the sneak peek, it ends with this specific shot where Lydia and Alpha see Beta. So we have a pretty intimidating Beta in the back. I don't think this would be anyone else because that would be ridiculous. It makes a lot of sense for this to be Beta, even though we don't see him. Beta looks like a freaking serial killer here. I'm not even gonna lie. But it looks pretty badass. He looks pretty intimidating. It's gonna be very interesting to see how Alpha deals with Beta and what happens there when they actually see each other. We do see Beta has a machete. What is he gonna do with that? Is he gonna initially try to kill them? You know, what's gonna happen there? That's very interesting. And I'm also very interested to see how far they dive into Alpha and Beta's relationship or connection or whatever you want to call it. But this is actually a pretty dope shot, and this shot alone gets me super excited about this episode. Then we have another shot of Lydia and Alpha again from the same scene. Another shot of Alpha and Lydia. They're just escaping the walkers most likely, but we don't know when this takes place. This might be before or after they meet Beta. They could be running away from Beta. Another shot of them trying to run away from something, most likely walkers, but it could be Beta. We just don't know, what happens there or whether Beta's friendly towards them or not. Then we have this shot, which is current timeline now. So we have the Alpha that we know. She has her mask on. There's whispers and walkers in the background. We have some more walkers / whispers. So that's a pretty cool shot. Some more walkers and whispers and Beta right in the center. Pretty cool shot of him. Another shot of some more whispers. We have Alpha here and we have Gamma, the new female whisperer that we're gonna see in this episode. It's gonna be her introduction. Like we talked about before, there seems to be some sort of connection between Gamma and Alpha as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see, for us to dive into that connection and to see what's really going on between them. Then we have this shot of some more whispers and some walkers most likely in the background, but we have Beta and Alpha as well. Pretty cool shot. This shot of Beta and some other walkers and whispers. Pretty cool. And this shot of some walkers, maybe some whispers amongst them. I couldn't spot Beta or Alpha here. I think Beta is a pretty easy one to spot because he's so huge, but I couldn't spot him here. This actually might be Beta, I'm not sure. That's the tallest looking dude that we see in this herd, so that might be Beta. Then we have this shot of some more whispers and walkers, and right here we have Gamma, and then right here we have some more whispers in the background, maybe some walkers again with them, and Alpha right here. We have another shot of Alpha taking off her mask, looking at something here, which is pretty interesting. Not sure if she spots one of the survivors or if it's something else, but that's a pretty cool shot. Then we have this shot of some whispers and Beta right in the center again. This shot of Alpha and some whispers in the background. And then this shot of, again, Alpha with her mask on this time. Some whispers in the background. This shot of Beta with some whispers. And this shot of Gamma, the new female whisperer who's going to be introduced. And another shot of Gamma without her mask on. And again, it's going to be very interesting to see what type of connection Alpha and Gamma have, and whether that creates any type of tension. There's rumors that there's going to be some sort of conflict between Gamma and Beta in this episode, so it's going to be interesting to see whether that's true, and if it does happen, what Alpha's going to do, being in the middle of that. And then this final shot of Alpha and Beta with some whispers in the background. And that's pretty much all the photos that were released. Again, as I talked about in my prediction video, I think this episode is split into two halves. One half is going to be the current timeline, and the other half is going to be a flashback. It's going to show us Alpha and Lydia surviving on their own, and we're going to see when they find Beta. And we might even slowly see them form their Whisperer group. So that's going to be very interesting. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.